most famous dads was the late Douglas Fairbanks Sr. He's seen here golfing with Harold Lloyd, Leo Deagle, and George Bonnell. And here's his equally celebrated son, Commander Douglas Fairbanks Jr., home again to resume his interrupted screen career after 5 years' service in Uncle Sam's Navy, with incidentally 5 decorations for gallantry in action. Jack Holt, and with him his screen star son, Tim Holt. As a bombardier in the Air Force, Tim took an active part in our final campaigns against the Japanese. Noah Beery, a noted star ever since the screen's early days, is gone now, but his name will remain in lights. Noah Beery Jr., a headliner in his own right, is carrying on. Joe E. Brown, and with him his eldest son, Captain Don Brown, killed in a plane crash early in the war. These Hollywood playboys are Charles Starrett, the cowboy star, and his twin sons. Before he started carrying movie heroines to safety, Starrett carried footballs to touchdowns for Dartmouth. It looks like he may have a pair of worthy successors. Speaking of famous fathers, here's that well-known nag, gag, and song man, Bing Crosby, a strong contender in any Father's Day derby. Since Gary, the eldest of the Crosby heirs, posed for this scene with his mother, Doc Stork has brought him 3 brothers. This Hollywood dad, Bill Regan, was married at 17 and a proud parent at 18. His son Joe was the youngster on the left. It's no wonder the strangers mistake them for brothers. If Laughlin Brown doesn't become a gun-throwing Western star when he grows up, it won't be because his dad, Johnny Mack Brown, neglected to give him the proper training. How about it, boys? Would you like to learn a few of these tricks? They're simple. Just ask your father to teach you. Hoagy Carmichael is another Hollywood papa who likes to play teacher, but he specializes in downbeats rather than 6 guns. We found him in the garden, improving an idle afternoon by teaching the 2 young Carmichaels how to plug his latest song hit, Doctor, Lawyer, Indian Chief. When that Robin Hood of the Ozarks, Bob Burns, feels the urge to dish out a little instruction, he takes his 2 towheads to an archery range and shows them how to score bullseyes. Watch closely now. Ah, dead center. We promised Bob we wouldn't tell how many times he missed. Here's Glenn Ford, out for a venturesome stroll with his son, Peter. Pete's footwork may be just a bit uncertain now, but it'll improve in time, for Mama is Eleanor Powell, one of the greatest dancing stars in show business. Goodwin's son, William, is only 4 years old, but Papa, being something of a philosopher, reasons that it's never too early to teach a youngster who's been exposed to grease paint that Hollywood life is like a scenic railway, full of ups and downs. justly proud parent is Charles Correll, better known to millions of motion picture and radio fans as Andy, the basso profundo half of the ever-popular comedy team Amos and Andy. The cycling enthusiast who's sharing the spotlight with him in these scenes is Charles Correll Jr. Meet Ken Murray and his two boys, Ken Jr. and Court. Ken is the kind of father who believes in being a real companion to his sons, entering into the spirit of their play and keeping an understanding eye on their activities. Hey, look out. If this sort of thing goes on much longer, the senior Murray will be lucky to have an eye. We found George Burns and his son Ronald engrossed, trying to be engrossed anyway, in a hard-fought game of checkers. The dog belongs to Ronald's mama, Gracie Allen. George tells us that she has it trained to stroll across the board whenever it sees that he has maneuvered his pieces into position for a win. Professor Jerry Colonna. The miniature facsimile who's hiding behind that spinach is named Robert. He's going to be a big help to Papa when he grows up in keeping the mustache cup industry alive. Alan Mowbray and Alan II. The elder Mowbray particularly wanted us to photograph him in his apron as he readied his boy for school. I owe it to my craft, he said. Let's prove to the cruelly skeptic world that under the comedian's motley garb there often beats a heart of gold. It's very seldom that quiet of this kind reigns at the Pat O'Brien home. Usually you'd find Pat and his two husky sons, Terrence, Kevin, and Sean, playing football. Unless, of course, you found them playing baseball or volleyball or basketball or softball. Pat reasons that future All-Americans should start their training young. When holidays roll around, you'll find Jack Haley parked in front of the military school where his son is a cadet. There's Jack Jr. now. He's the sergeant in command of this crack squad. And it looks like Dad will have to wait for some military red tape to be untangled before he can take his soldier home and eat that waiting dinner. Responsibilities, you know. And if he's a good officer, he puts them ahead of a father's appetite. Say, did someone mention food? That's a synonym for charge where these commandos are concerned. To have guests for dinner, lots of guests. Well, fortunately, there's always room for one more, and it's kids like these who make Father's Day a joyous event for American dads.